Hi, my name is Autif Kamal, and this is episode 38 of Be Logical. This one is about Edward Snowden. I had talked about Edward Snowden in the past. It's one of the last few episodes that I did about how he revealed leaks about how the NSA is using or accessing the private information pertaining to citizens' phone records and emails. And for that, the US government is pursuing him, probably to prosecute him. So he revealed his leaks to Glenn Greenwald, who writes for the Guardian. Now, Snowden left for Hong Kong. I'm not quite sure why, but that's what his first destination was. Also, a lot of the information I'm telling you about I'm getting from Josh Rogan, who writes for the Daily Beast. The name of his article is U.S. Threatens Russia with Retaliation on Edward Snowden. So yeah, he left for Hong Kong. And something that we should consider is why did he run away? And to help you figure out why he ran away, you could look at a recent whistleblower and the consequence that that whistleblower suffered for remaining in the US, or remaining within the reach of the US. So Bradley Manning is a recent whistleblower. He released leaks about US war logs. Some of the contents of those war logs that he released to WikiLeaks are as follows. US helicopters gunned down a father and his children in Baghdad. It was about how over 100 prisoners in Guantanamo Bay are being tortured, which is against the Geneva Conventions, which is something that the US is supposed to be complying with. And it's also about how the US killed 86 to 147 Afghan civilians. For revealing those leaks, Bradley Manning received a life sentence. If the United States treats all whistleblowers the same, then he would receive that life sentence as well. So it makes sense that Edward Snowden ran away. Now, the United States had learned that Snowden was in China, so they submitted an extradition request to them. Snowden was trying to catch a flight out to Moscow, but his flight was delayed because I guess China was considering whether to comply with the US extradition request. But Snowden still ended up flying to Moscow. According to the White House press secretary, they believe that the Chinese government, the Chinese central government in Beijing, rather than the central government or the local government in Hong Kong, had allowed him to leave. So sorry, just to be clear, the Chinese central government let him leave, not the Hong Kong local government. Okay. Now, this move, I'm speculating, will probably damage a benefit that China could have received. Just to give you an example, the U.S. Congress on June 24th of this year was considering an immigration reform bill. It was a U.S. visa waiver program, which would make travel easier for citizens from Hong Kong to the US. It would not necessarily guarantee that citizens from Hong Kong could come to the US, but it would make it easier, whatever that means. So a consequence of China's move is that maybe some senators are angry with how China responded, and in their anger they could decide to vote down this bill because of that provision for China. So Snowden has arrived in Moscow. He was traveling through Moscow to apply for asylum in either Iceland or Ecuador. US submitted an extradition request to Russia as well, but Russia denied it for a very simple reason. And the reason was that, according to President Vladimir Putin, Russia and US do not have an extradition agreement. Putin wants Snowden to leave as soon as possible. He says, Mr. Snowden is a free man, and the sooner he chooses his final destination, the better it is for us and for him. So he's not concerned with where he's going. It sounds like he wants the US to take care of it, and he wants no part in, I guess, the issue that Edward Snowden has with the US government. So Snowden had booked a flight to Ecuador but he did not board it. So there were several reporters that boarded the plane he was supposed to go on, and they found his seat apparently, but his seat was empty. The good news is that Snowden seems like he's welcome in Ecuador, according to the Ecuador Foreign Minister, or Ricardo Patino. This is his quote: Edward Snowden is a man attempting to bring light and transparency to facts that affect everyone's fundamental liberties. I'm getting that quote from Vladimir Isachenkov, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, and Matti Huhtanen. They write for Yahoo, and the name of the article was "Putin Says No to U.S. Request to Extradite Edward Snowden." Now the bad news is, as of June 25th of this year, they're not really sure, the Ecuador government is not really sure where Edward Snowden is right now. So he could still be in Russia, or he could have traveled to some other location outside of Russia. Anyway, so the chase continues for the US government for Edward Snowden, and we'll see how that turns out. Alright, thank you for watching.